Greetings and salutations. It is I, Mr. Nothing, the museum curator of the weird and the strange, and the host who might be the ghost of Christmas past. Welcome back to Around the Weird, a booktube channel where I talk about out of the ordinary and unusual books that I've found in my travels. Today it is Poetry Thursday, a day where I can talk about some high quality poetry, maybe some weird poetry, or poetry that is on theme with a given month. Today is one such of the last, and I will be talking about a holiday themed poem, a Christmas themed poem called Christmas Eve by Cathy Song. For those that don't know, Cathy Song is a Hawaiian-born Asian American poet. She has been writing for quite some time, and her poetry often incorporates themes of family, her own heritage, and feminism. That's really all I really know about her. She's won a couple of awards in her time, so she's pretty heavy with her own heritage. And so I wanted to explore one of her poems that I found, which is surprisingly a Christmas-themed poem. Luckily, it fits in with the theme of this month, and I wouldn't say it's so much weird as it is, just Christmas heavy. So let's talk about it. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about Cathy beyond what I already said. I don't really know too much about her, and sometimes that's the case with the poets that we find on Poetry Thursday. They're not well published or extremely well known, like with your Tennessee or not Tennyson's or your Frost or your Ginsbergs. Without further ado, let's talk about Cathy Song's Christmas Eve. I'll read the poem, do a little analysis, and we will move on from there. Midnight finds you driving home after work. The streets are empty. The houses, muted and curved like caves under a wave of snow, seem far away tonight. A streetlight blinks on and off, red, green, and red, mechanical and impersonal as the Christmas lights, dotting the invisible trees. They, too, seem to belong to the air. The children will be asleep, tired of waiting this longest and darkest of days, their faces opening like hands to a dream. It is all you can do to recall such bliss, the nights you slept in the sheltered knowledge of a tree. Grave and beautiful, it breathed in the center of the house for weeks, stepping onto the cold bare floor past your parents' room. You would leave your small bed to find it still there, alive in the green dark. Your wife will be wrapping the last gift, alone in the basement with a family of socks and shirts, each one identical, obedient, and inexhaustible. She has asked for nothing of you this Christmas, and you will not surprise her. Carrying the silver package up the stairs, she will glance out the window, noting the hour and the snow. The tracks the children left have disappeared. She will not forget to leave on the backyard light. It burns away a circle of dark, shining on a snowdrift the shape of a tricycle. All that you have ever wanted is here, asleep. It is all you can do to find your way home. And so that was Christmas Eve by Cathy Song, a poem that I found on the Poetry Foundation, but comes from the journal Poetry from December 1991. It is a quality poem, and I really like it because it does something interesting, and it doesn't indulge in the fantasies of Christmas. Rather, it seems to do the opposite by highlighting the sort of materialistic nature of Christmas. There are a couple examples of that. A street light blinks on and off, red, green, and red, mechanical and impersonal as the Christmas lights dotting the invisible trees. And so yeah, like I feel like that's a good example of what I'm trying to get at, where it doesn't portray like the Christmas lights as magical during the night when the subject of the poem is driving home. The Christmas lights seem very mechanical. They seem to be operating on maybe a cycle. They're pretty. They light up the surroundings, but maybe they're just light noise that one would see. Just another thing that one perceives in the world. The subject of the poem, it's not as enchanting as maybe other people might find it in other poems, like "'Twas the Night," for example. And I think Cathy's song does this in contrast to other things in the poem to highlight a specific detail. And she does this through when she talks about family. Uh, Specifically, she's talking about how the subject of the poem wants to get home, wants to see their children. Their wife has been working really hard to make Christmas happen. Interestingly, there's a part where it says she has asked for nothing of you this Christmas, and you will not surprise her. And so that part is a bit weird because it seems like the narrator, the speaker of the poem, the subject of the poem is not going to get their wife anything for Christmas. Or maybe I'm reading that wrong and they're saying they're not going to surprise her with nothing. In which case that's a weird double negative, but it really seems like the wife is working hard and her reward is, I guess, her children's joy. But it would be nice for the wife to have something to show for all her hard work, a gift from her husband in a way that expresses his love. Although maybe the pleasure of one's company is love enough. That I find to be a little overdone here, I guess. But yeah, I really like that aspect. And then it's further near the end of the poem where Cathy says, "It burns away a circle of dark, shining on a snowdrift, the shape of a tricycle. All that you have ever wanted is here, asleep. It is all you can do to find your way home." And so what the narrator is saying about the speaker is that they can't wait to get home because everything they want is at home. Like Christmas often seems to be about gifts and material possessions, but what the narrator truly wants is the experience of sharing a joyful holiday with their children, with their family, with the people that they love, which is what the other things I've been talking about having getting at, like how the Grinch Stole Christmas was about the togetherness over presents, and Gift of the Magi was also about being with the one you love over receiving extravagant gifts. And that I feel like Cathy is getting at that here, where she's like, there may be beautiful lights outside and the feeling of joy of Christmas, of getting presents and receiving stuff, but ultimately it's about spending time with family. And I really like how Cathy does that, because at the beginning of the poem she shows the mechanical and impersonal nature of the Christmas lights and the Christmas trees dotting the landscape, and then she after that she talks about family, and so there's a contrast between the two. One of those is impersonal. The subject of the poem might not care for it very much, but on the other hand, the warmth and the coziness of the family and being with them on Christmas is highly desirable and something that the subject of the poem is racing home to get to. So yeah, a very interesting comparison between the two, and I like how she uses both of those things to draw a contrast. That was Christmas Eve by Cathy Song, a very good poem. I will put a link to it in the description so that you may find it and read it and enjoy it during this holiday season. And maybe you might find it outside of the holiday season and it's still worth reading. Yeah, so if you read it before or you want to comment on something I said in my highlighting of this poem, make sure you comment below in the comment section. I would love to hear from you, and we can have a discussion and talk more about wonderful holiday poetry. Otherwise, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that we can get Poetry Thursday off to the masses. And until then, I wish you the best of luck in your weird and holiday-filled travels. Farewell.